My toxic sister-in-law fat shamed me, so I told everyone the truth about her perfect body. My sister-in-law Calliope is the most beautiful woman in our family. 5'10", naturally blonde, a body that looks airbrushed. She'd been a runway model in her 20s and now ran a wellness influencer account with 300,000 followers. Her tagline was, discipline over diets. She also never let me forget she was thinner than me. I'd had 3 kids in 5 years. My body wasn't what it was at 22. I was a size 14. I worked out 3 days a week. I ate well. I was healthy. Calliope made it her mission to comment on my body at every family gathering. Oh, sweetie, are you sure you want seconds? I'll send you my meal plan. It changed my life. It's so brave that you can wear that dress with your shape. My husband Theron, her brother, would tell her to stop. She'd laugh. I'm just trying to help. Beatrix knows I love her. The breaking point came at his mother's 70th birthday party in October. 80 guests. I'd bought a green dress. I'd done my hair. I felt good for the first time in months. Calliope showed up in a white silk gown that probably cost more than my mortgage. She floated over to me at the bar. Oh, Beatrix, look at you in green. You're so confident. Not many women your size would wear something so form-fitting. Theron set his drink down. Calliope, stop. She put her hand on his arm. Theron, I'm being supportive. I smiled. I appreciate it, Calliope. Then I excused myself to the bathroom. While I was in there, I heard her come in with her best friend Ophelia. They didn't see me in the stall. Did you see her? In that green dress? Oh my god, the thighs. Theron must hate going home to that every night. I genuinely feel bad for him. Cal, you're terrible. I'm being honest. He used to date models. Now he comes home to that. They both laughed. Then they left. I stayed in the stall for 10 minutes trying to get my hands to stop shaking. I walked back to my husband. I told him I had a headache. We left early. When we got home, I went to my office, closed the door, and opened my laptop. The thing Calliope didn't know about me is that I run a small forensic accounting firm. I specialize in finding hidden assets in divorce cases. I'm extremely good at finding things people don't want found. Calliope had a wellness brand, a photogenic perfect mom influencer brand built entirely on natural beauty and clean living. Everything she posted was about how she achieved her body through discipline and green smoothies. I'd been suspicious for years because the math never added up. I started digging. Over the next 3 weeks, I followed the money. Her brand was registered to an LLC. The LLC paid bills to several consulting services. 2 of those consulting services traced back to medical clinics, specifically a plastic surgery practice in Newport Beach and a private GLP-1 prescribing clinic in West Hollywood. I pulled what I could legally pull. Public records. I found 2 things. First, Calliope had filed a malpractice suit against her plastic surgeon in 2021 for complications related to liposuction and abdominoplasty. Settled out of court. Public record. Second, the GLP-1 clinic in West Hollywood was where she'd been prescribed semaglutide weekly since 2022. Her wellness brand was built on the lie that she didn't use weight loss medication. I sat on the information for 2 weeks. Then Calliope did something that decided it for me. My 6-year-old daughter Ren came home from a sleepover at Calliope's house. She wouldn't eat dinner. She told me she wasn't allowed to eat carbs because they made her tummy look bad. I asked who told her that. Ren said, Aunt Calliope. She said I look like mommy, and mommy is going to die early because of her body. I called Theron into the kitchen. I told him what Ren said. Theron's face went a color I'd never seen. He picked up his phone. I stopped him. Don't call her. Let me handle this. That weekend was Thanksgiving at my mother-in-law's house. 40 people. Calliope was there, white cashmere outfit, glowing. I sat next to her at dinner. I asked about her wellness brand. She lit up. It's amazing this year. I just hit 300,000 followers. I'm so happy for you. Discipline really pays off. It's all natural. People keep asking if I've had work done and I'm like, no, it's just gratitude and clean eating. I took a sip of my wine. Calliope, can I show you something on my phone really quick? I turned my screen toward her. The malpractice filing, her plastic surgeon's name, her settlement. Then I swiped. The pharmacy records request showing her semaglutide prescriptions. Calliope's wine glass froze halfway to her mouth. The whole table got quiet. My mother-in-law Apollonia leaned forward. What is that, Beatrix? Calliope tried to grab the phone. I pulled it back. Calliope recovered faster than I thought she would. She let out this laugh. Loud. Almost too loud. Oh my god, Beatrix, what is this? Are you seriously doing this right now? At Mom's Thanksgiving? Then she turned to Apollonia. Her eyes filled up with tears. Just enough. She reached toward her mother and said, Mom, she's trying to humiliate me at your dinner. This is your Thanksgiving and she's doing this. Her voice wobbled on that last word. I'm not going to lie. It was good. Apollonia looked at Calliope, then at me, then back at Calliope. She leaned forward. What's going on? What are you showing her, Beatrix? And that's exactly what Calliope was counting on. The whole table had gone still. I could feel Calliope banking on something. She was banking on the fact that this family hates conflict. Several relatives shifted in their seats. I saw one of Theron's uncles lean over and mutter, maybe this isn't the time. Then Calliope really went for it. She put her hand flat against her chest. Her chin trembled. I have always been kind to you, Beatrix. I have always tried to support you. Always. And you're attacking me? At Thanksgiving? In front of my children? Her voice cracked on the word children. It cracked perfectly. And I realized in that moment that Calliope had done this before. For a moment, it worked. Apollonia reached across the table and took Calliope's hand. 2 of Theron's cousins looked at me with an expression I recognized. Disapproval. I felt the room tilting. I was becoming the bad guy. My hands were in my lap under the table and they were shaking again. Then Theron spoke. He didn't stand up. He didn't raise his voice. He just talked. Calm. He said, Calliope told our 6-year-old daughter that her mother was going to die because of her body. The table didn't move. She told Ren not to eat carbs so she wouldn't end up looking like her mom. Our daughter is 6. She came home from a sleepover at Calliope's house and she wouldn't eat dinner. She told us her aunt said her mommy was going to die early because of how she looked. The silence after that was different from the silence before. I watched Apollonia's hand, the one that was holding Calliope's. She pulled it back. Slowly. Every parent at that table was now looking at Calliope differently. Because you can debate what's okay to say to an adult, but telling a 6-year-old that her mother is going to die because of how she looks? There's no spin for that. Calliope pivoted. Fast. She wiped her eyes and straightened straightened up. I never said that, she said. Her voice was harder now. I never said any of that to Ren. She's 6 years old. Kids misunderstand things. Kids make things up. Then she looked down the table toward Ophelia. It wasn't a casual glance. It was a look that said, help me. Ophelia didn't look up. She didn't nod. She didn't say a word. I could have argued about Ren, but that's exactly what Calliope wanted. She wanted this to turn into a he said, she said about a kid's memory. So I didn't take the bait. I said, Calliope, I'm not here to argue about what a 6-year-old heard. I'm here because you've spent years telling me my body is wrong. You've told this whole family that your body comes from discipline and clean eating. That's not true, and I can prove it. I picked up my phone, and I started reading from the malpractice filing, out loud, to the whole table. I read the surgeon's name, I read the date, I read the procedures, liposuction, abdominoplasty. I read that the case had been settled. When I finished, I looked up. This is a public court record. Anyone at this table can look it up. That's when Calliope's composure finally cracked. She stood up. Her chair scraped back against the hardwood floor. She pointed at me. Her finger was shaking. You went digging through my medical history? She said. That is a violation of my privacy. That is illegal. I shook my head. I stayed right where I was. It's a malpractice lawsuit that you filed. You made it public when you sued him. That's how lawsuits work, Calliope. When you file in court, it becomes a public record. I didn't hack into anything. You put your own name on a legal complaint that listed every procedure you had done, and then you spent the next 3 years telling everyone you knew that you'd never had work done. And then she did something I didn't see coming. She turned on Theron. Her teeth were clenched. This is what she's done to you, Theron. She's turned you against your own family. She's jealous of me. She's always been jealous of me. From the day you brought her home, she couldn't stand that I was thinner than her. Instead of losing the weight, instead of doing the work, she decided to destroy me. This isn't about Ren. This is about a jealous woman who can't look in the mirror and deal with what she sees. The table was dead silent, and in a weird way, that was the best thing she could have done, because now everyone heard it. Not the polished version, the real version. Theron looked at his sister. He didn't flinch. He said, you told my daughter she was going to look like her mother, and that was a bad thing. We're done, Cal. Apollonia had been quiet through all of it, and when Theron said, we're done, Cal, Apollonia looked at Calliope, and then she spoke. Her voice got quieter than normal. Calliope, did you have surgery? Just like that. Simple. Direct. Calliope blinked. She tried to wave it off. Mom, that's not the point. My medical history is my private. Apollonia cut her off. Did you have the surgery? Yes or no? Calliope stood there for what felt like forever, and then she said it, quiet, almost under her breath. It was a minor procedure. It's not anyone's concern. The silence lasted about 3 seconds. Then it broke. One of Calliope's cousins leaned forward and said, you told me last Christmas that you'd never even had filler. Then one of Theron's uncles spoke up. You gave my wife a lecture about how she should try harder instead of considering a tummy tuck after her pregnancy. You stood in our kitchen and told her she was taking the easy way out. He looked up at Calliope. You had the same surgery. And then it was like a dam broke. One by one around the table, people started remembering. A cousin's wife shook her head slowly. Someone further down the table said, she told me I should try intermittent fasting after my second kid. Every comment, every piece of advice, all of it was being re-examined in real time. I let that sit for a moment. Then I spoke again. There's one more thing. Calliope has also been taking semaglutide since 2022. A few people clearly knew what that was. So I explained. Semaglutide is a weekly injection used for weight loss. A lot of people use it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking it. I paused. I looked at Calliope. But Calliope has been on this medication since 2022, while telling her followers and telling this family that her body is the result of discipline over diets. That's her whole brand. That's what she told me every time she commented on my plate or my dress or my body. I took a breath. There's nothing wrong with taking medication. There's nothing wrong with having surgery. People make those choices for all kinds of reasons. But there is something wrong with lying about it and then shaming other women for not looking like you. There is something wrong with making your sister-in-law feel small at every family dinner for 6 years because she doesn't have the body you paid for. And there is something very wrong with telling a 6-year-old girl that her mother is going to die because of how she looks. That's when I noticed movement at the far end of the table. Ophelia. She had been sitting there the entire time without saying a single word, and now she was pushing her chair back. She picked up her purse, set her napkin on the table, and stood up. She didn't say goodbye. She just walked toward the front hallway. The front door opened and closed. I looked at Calliope. She had watched the whole thing, without defending her, without even looking at her, and for the first time all night, what I saw on Calliope's face wasn't a performance. It was real. She looked like someone who had just been left behind by the one person she thought would always stay. But Calliope is Calliope. She turned to Apollonia. Her voice was smaller now. Mom, please. She's ruining Thanksgiving. She planned this. She's been planning this for weeks. Can't you see what she's doing? Apollonia looked at her daughter, and the expression on her face wasn't anger. It was sadness. Deep, tired sadness. Apollonia said, you told Ren she was going to die because of how she looked. She's 6, Calliope. Every word landed. Calliope grabbed her purse off the back of her chair. She straightened her spine. I'm not staying here. I'm not going to sit here and be attacked by someone who's been planning my public humiliation for weeks. She turned and started walking toward the front door. She was about 5 steps from the hallway when Apollonia said her name, not loud, just firm. Calliope, sit down. Calliope stopped. Her whole body stopped. She didn't sit down, but she didn't take another step. Apollonia pushed her chair back and stood up, slowly. Then she looked at me. I owe you an apology, Beatrix, she said. I felt my chest tighten. Of all the things I had prepared for tonight, Apollonia apologizing to me was not one of them. I've heard Calliope make comments about your body for years, she said. At dinners, at holidays. I heard them. I saw your face when she said them, and I never said a word. I told myself it was just how Calliope talks. I told myself you could handle it. That was wrong. I should have stopped it a long time ago. Then she looked right at me. I'm sorry. My throat closed up. I pressed my lips together. I nodded. responded. Then I said, thank you. 2 words. That was all I could get out without my voice breaking. Then Apollonia turned back toward Calliope. She said, you are my daughter, and I love you. But what you said to that little girl is something I will not forgive easily. You don't get to make a child afraid of food. You don't get to make a child ashamed of her mother. I don't care what you've had done to your body, Calliope. I care that you used it to hurt people, especially a child who trusts you. Calliope's face crumbled, not the careful, pretty tears from earlier. This was something else entirely. Her whole face just fell apart. She didn't say a word. She didn't try to argue. She just turned, walked down the hallway, and left. The front door opened, then it closed. The rest of Thanksgiving was quiet. Not uncomfortable quiet, more like everyone exhaling after holding their breath for years. Several family members came up to me individually throughout the evening. One of Theron's cousins pulled me aside in the kitchen and said she always thought Calliope's comments were cruel, but didn't know how to say it. On the drive home, Theron held my hand. He didn't apologize this time. He just said, I should have done what you did a long time ago. That night, I checked on Ren. She was asleep. I sat on the edge of her bed for a while. Then I went to the kitchen and made myself a plate of leftovers. I ate every bite. Calliope didn't come to Christmas that year. She sent a gift for the kids. No card for me. No apology. But also, for the first time in years, no comment. And that silence felt like the loudest thing I'd ever heard.